I'm Gavin Hurley and welcome to another episode of On the Fly. We're here in New Zealand in Southland on the Mataura River, one of the most famous rivers in all of New Zealand. They've had a little bit of rain lately, so it's a little discoloured, but being Australians we can certainly see in there at the moment. It's good by our standards. The fish will be pretty aggressive to feed too because they haven't been able to feed for the last few days with the water being dirty, so they'll be looking for some food as well. So we're looking mainly at the edges, and with a bit of luck we'll be able to find a few fish. Now, we've just been walking up the bank here, and quite often when there has been a bit of colour in the water, the trout, they don't like all this dirt and grit going through the gills either. So quite often you'll find them right up on the bank where it's quite clean water. So we've just spotted one up here. He's probably only a foot or so from the bank. So we need to obviously get a nice cast from a bit of an angle in there, not too far ahead, because you don't want your fly line going over the top. Just a leader, and with a bit of luck he'll take it. And he did. That was, it's probably hard to see back there, but I've got I'm sorry, I'm stuck for words, the blowfly pattern on where he's come up, saw that, he's moved a good 2 or 3 feet, and sometimes I'll do that to get a nice big dry. So it's obviously, I guess to a trout it's like a Toblerone or a great bit of chocolate, you know, so they obviously like it. So he's gone quite a way to get that, so that's ideal. Makes our job a lot easier. When the cast's not perfect, the fish will help you out and he'll move a metre to the side to get it. It's always important when you're playing fish, what we want to do with the rod is throw them off balance. So if they want to go in one particular direction, instead of it's good to hold the rod up high and keep the line away from any snags and things, but also if I want him to go a particular way, I can turn the rod. It's called side strain, and that's what we can do with this fish here. If I want him to come back to this way, I can turn the rod this way and he'll come, just like a dog on a lead, you know, so you can just do that, and it just throws the fish off balance. When he's trying to run in one direction, just by turning your rod on either side is going to throw him off balance, and it just stops him from all his power from swimming in the one direction. He'll be a good 3 or 4, 3.5 pound, 4 pound. So yeah, which is ideal. You never get sick of catching, you know, 3 and 4 pound fish, particularly on the dry fly. But you get him on a short line, keep the pressure on him, and again, as we talk about, you can still throw him off balance, and you want his head to be up. So we don't want to chase him, we want to go head first, and we want his head to be up, like that, and you get him head first, and you get a good solid fish like that into the net, and it makes it, well, it makes the plan just work out pretty well. Great Southland brown trout. So we'll get him back in. Again, as we always say, up current, he'll get that through his gills, he'll be ready to go straight off. You know, with a good rod, you can land the fish pretty quick. Don't do too much harm, and he's good to go. And he'll be ready for you when you come over. Just got another one just here. We've probably gone bad cast right on him. Oh, he's going to take it anyway. Oh, he went and had a look at it. Not very far at all. And he knew straight off that he'd made the wrong decision there. And that's good again. Again, a blowfly. That fish that you saw just before the break was well, we caught it just here. And we've taken another, literally a few more steps, and you've got another one. And that's what, we keep saying New Zealand's pretty good, but that's what New Zealand's all about. You know, you've got some good, strong, powerful fish, and you can get, you know, plenty of them. So that's it, yeah. It's got a bit of going in this one, so. And that's what, when they get in the current and they've got their head and they're going downstream, you've got to let them go. So again, a good drag, but you've got to try and get below them. So otherwise they're in control the whole time. So keep your rod high and try and get down below them and wind, keep a tight line as you go. Oh, it's probably only 50, 60 metres we've had to go downstream, but it's not even over yet. But that's what these sort of fish can do. You know, they're pretty powerful fish that live in these rivers the whole time. So you just got to try and maintain that pressure. Have that rod angled to try and direct him in the way you want him to go. And hopefully just tire him out. Proving to be a bit of an ordeal, but that's why we do it. It's just great fun, particularly when you get a fish that puts up a fight like this. It just makes everything worthwhile. And that did it all wrong then. I got him tail first, put a lot of pressure on that rod, but if he had got into that fast water there, and you're talking another 50-60 metres and a little bit of traffic down there too with some logs and rocks and things like that. So bit of a risk, but sometimes you can go tail first and get him. But that's what New Zealand fishing is all about. A workout like that, fantastic. And great fish. He's 3¼ pound, so not the biggest or a monster, but just fit. That's your typical thoroughbred. Yeah, if it was a racehorse, he'd be in the Melbourne Cup. This one, he's a good fish. Yeah, you never get tired of it. It's just good. It's a terrible job I've got doing this sort of stuff. There's some quiet water. He's got plenty to go straight off. He's ready to go. As long as they're sitting upright and you get him swimming off like that, she's just ideal. And in exactly the same spot, another fish has taken up his lie. It's obviously a good feeding spot. So we're going to plonk out the same, what's been working so far, and see if we can't get him to take it. Well, we wouldn't that cast, but we might help him out a bit, throw it a little bit closer. And he does. So that's worked out pretty well. This one in exactly the same spot, and it's probably only been, we've caught another fish just above it, and this one actually feels a little bit bigger, so I'll just put a little bit of strain on him, and we're going to go downstream again. But yeah, you've got to be happy with this. That's why you come to New Zealand. Well, he seems a little bit bigger than the other one, so it could be a good 4.5 or 5, so we'll see how we go. But he loves that blowfly pattern, loves that blowfly. Oh, and we've got him in there. Again, it was tail first, but I just didn't want him to get in that fast water. And he's a good solid fish. For the Mataura, he's an absolute cracker. Absolute cracker. And that's what it's about. If you ever wondered why go to New Zealand? Why would you bother? You know, coming to the Southland, you know, with you go on one of Pro Anglers trips or whatever. This is why you do it, to you know, to come across this, a fish like this. What do you reckon? I reckon 5.5, caught to 6. Oh gee. There you go, not even close. He's 7¼ pound. And we haven't even got any rocks in there. I don't know if you need to, or you can trust me. Actually, he's closer to 7.5. That is an absolute thumper. That's amazing. Well, I won't sort of muck around with him too much. We'll get him back in the water, or you know, out of the net and get him back in there. But this is why you come to New Zealand, to come across fish like that in a river like this. This is a dead set trophy in the Mataura River. So he's an absolute belter. We'll get him out of the net, give you a closer look, and get him back in the water. Now, in real life, this is absolutely enormous. I can guarantee you, he is enormous. I don't know how big your TV screen is, but through these eyes, he's massive. He's massive. Just the depth, it's probably hard to see in the coloration of these. This is a trophy fish out of the Mataura. Easily the biggest fish I've got in the Mataura. And this is just absolutely magnificent. So we've got to make sure it's good to bring him out and get a photo, do all that sort of stuff, but keep them back in the water, you know, so you can get them back in, they can get that oxygen, and they don't get in strife. Because we want this one to live for a long time. You want to catch him and catch him and catch him. You don't want to bang him on the head and show him off and eat him. You know, if you want that, you can order fish and chips from, you know, the pub or something. Catch this fish, put him back, because the enjoyment this bloke's given me is amazing, and I want you to enjoy it as well. So when you get a big fish, don't show it off, put him back in and let somebody else catch him as well. I'll let him go. He is enormous. He is enormous. Just the depth on that. That is a magnificent fish. And that's what it's all about. Catching a fish like that is just awesome. And I think that's a good way to finish a day on a fish like that. We haven't even had a really good rise yet or anything like that, but it's just superb. On the good old trusty blowfly. Funny enough, we sell them in our shop. You might have to duck down and have a look at them. And they look almost unreal, but you put them on and the fish just smash them. So just a great fly to use over here in New Zealand and also in Australia. We've used it in Australia and caught some crackers. So, but funny enough, nothing as good as that one just yet. So that's all we've got time for on the fly with this episode. I hope you've enjoyed Southland and seeing what New Zealand can offer. And I look forward to seeing you next time on the fly.